Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Play On podcast. In this episode, we're going to give a brief review of the league final in Division 3, which took place between Offaly and Derry. Two teams that came into the game with a lot of momentum, having won all their games in their respective groups. And I wonder after this game now, will Offaly have regrets about playing this game because their momentum is somewhat destroyed now, beaten out the gate by a wonderful Derry side, 21 points to a goal and 6. I have Luke here with me to have a look at the game. Luke, what did you make of this game?
Yeah, it was an interesting one, kind of. I suppose it was over nearly before it began. In the end, really, it was very very resounding win for Derry, and they were very very comfortable. And I suppose kind of the how kind of uneven I suppose the game was kind of wasn't great as a spectacle, but yeah, I think it's an interesting question about whether Offaly should have played it or not. Like John Mahoney was adamant that they don't regret it at all playing the game, and that it won't disrupt their kind of their form going into championship. But it's an interesting argument because at the same time, like how many opportunities are Offaly going to have to compete for a National League title at Division 3 level? So I think I can completely understand why they played the game. I think they just have to hope that this doesn't damage kind of belief in the camp and all that sort of stuff going into potentially that they could have a big game against Kildare coming up in Leinster.
Yeah, definitely. And they'll have to get through Loud first to have that game against Kildare, which I think that they will do. From the start, they would have been saying that they would have wanted to have a crack at beating a like of a Kildare. And I think when they were going in with the momentum that they had of winning any game that stood in their way in Division 3, I think they would have believed in themselves a lot, considering that Kildare, they didn't qualify for Division 1 with a 100% record, that they were beaten by Clare, that there were cracks there in the Kildare armour. But Offaly now have shown a lot of vulnerabilities. One definite positive for Offaly and maybe a weakness for Derry in the future is Owen Rigney, the job he did on Shane McGuigan.
Yep, absolutely. It was probably the quietest that Shane Wigan was kept during the entire league, really. But then at the same time, he's kicked 8 points and scored a sideline as well. So he's an absolutely superb player. But yeah, Owen Rigney had a huge campaign for Offaly, and there's again Niall McNamee came off the bench, had a huge impact, made the goal as well, kicked a point as well. But yeah, 1-6 is not a great tally, and I suppose starting off from an Offaly perspective, they'll be disappointed with how that final went because like I was saying that like there won't be many chances for them to get kind of their hands on silverware all that often. So yeah.
Yeah, and definitely if Offaly hadn't have played the league final, I think it would have been a great what if for the county. I mean, as you said, how often are they going to get a chance to win silverware, especially play a final in Croke Park? It's been a long time for Offaly, and I think they were going into this with a massive, good vibe around the county. They were playing very attractive football under Mahon. And I think, Derry having, they had their league semi-final against Limerick. They only beat them by 4 points. So Offaly might have looked at that and thought, we might have a chance here. But I think Derry have just taken themselves to a new level under Rory Gallagher. They look so good. And as me and Kieran were saying there last week, the Ulster Championship actually seems to be open for them as dark horses when you consider the questionable form of the top counties.
Yeah, completely. And I think winning the final so resoundingly as they did at the weekend is just going to keep playing into that kind of momentum that's building around this team, like both from themselves and within the media as well. A lot of people are starting to kind of sit up and say, should we be taking Derry serious as proper Ulster contenders now? And yeah, like looking at it, they have all the foundations of it. Like Chrissy McCaig is good a fullback you're going to get, and that midfield pairing of Conor Glass and Emmett Bradley has been absolutely dominant. Like Conor Glass coming back from Australia has been absolutely huge for them. And I don't know. I don't think it's any coincidence that their upturn in form that they've experiences it coincided directly with him coming back into the county.
Yeah, this guy is an exceptional footballer. He's just a pure athlete, this guy. He's an AFL athlete, like he's basically a professional. And him coming back to Derry would have given them an immediate shot in the arm, considering as well that Shane McGuigan now has fully come into his own as a top class forward. And yeah, Derry are just in such a nice place right now, especially heading into, the Ulster Championship, which doesn't look as closed off as it has over the last 10 years. Like Cavan winning it last year. Cavan won it last year, having been relegated to Division 3, and morale was a bit low. whereas Derry are coming into the season on a high momentum, on promotion to Division 2 under a coach who has definitely got the best out of counties in the past with similar talent pools, if not weaker squads than Derry. He got Fermanagh to the Ulster final, and Fermanagh, in my opinion, had nowhere near the talents that Derry have now.
Yep, I think you're spot on there, and that's the thing, is that a lot of talk about Rory Gallagher's style. That Fermanagh team is very, very defensive, but I think he's looked at the players that he's able to put out there, and Fermanagh, bit of a shortage of natural forwards, so that's kind of probably explained the style of play that was preferred by Rory Gallagher. And now he's looking at this Derry team, where the forward line that have been absolutely shooting the lights in the entire league, and they're playing a really nice attacking brand of football. So it's I think they look in really, really good shape, and I'll be really curious to see how they get on in Ulster when they kind of come up against a bit kind of stiffer opposition.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be fascinating to see. Okay, guys, so that is a review of the Offaly versus Derry League final, capping off a wonderful league campaign for Derry and a disappointing climax to what was a really good league campaign for Offaly. Don't forget to have a look at our championship preview for the All-Ireland Football Championship of 2021. Take care.